Hello everyone, welcome back to some more 5D chess with multiverse time travel. We're going to play another game against the computer on another board, question mark? What are some interesting ones? I've looked at very small. They're like, I'm not that into those. I'm trying to remember, are they like 5x4 or something? Your pawns are just right, oh, 4x4, yeah. This is like way too degenerate. Timeline formations. I wish you'd just let me see the boards first, you know? This seems fine. We'll play this. It's kind of a pawn struggle of some kind. I have no idea how to approach this one. Huh. Well, one thing to note is that, like, sending this king, say, into another dimension is checkmate. I lose. Right? Well, no, not quite. I'll have to send someone back, presumably this very same king, in order to have made a move on this board, so that's not very good. So we kind of need the kings to do what exactly? Wow, this is a weird board. You need the kings to delay the pawn promotions for a while? Huh. I kind of like the idea of mirroring this pawn so that I can capture a past version of this pawn later. Like on my next move, I could fork off a new timeline where I've taken this guy. Maybe. I'm not sure why that's especially good, but it seems kind of cool. Although, I wonder if I should not do that, but instead do this to stop this guy from being pushed. Does that make any sense? Like, because if this pawn, like, wants to capture this pawn, you can't just cross timelines. You have to also go back in time. So you'll be taking a past version of this pawn, but there will still be a timeline where this pawn has not been captured, right? So a little bit less exciting. Yeah, I'm not so in love with that. Ugh. I don't know, like, I guess king here is something. This just seems like a really... It's so hard for your king to protect both sides of the board at once. I guess that's what you have to do, is threaten both ends to promote on either end while your king tries to delay things on the other board. I assume you support this pawn by, like, pawn here or pawn here. The other thing to keep in mind is kings can attack past versions of other kings. So suppose, for example, this king moved here, then I think king here would be checkmate. Wouldn't it? No. No? No. Because that would be 2 steps back in the past, right? Yeah. Okay, white is trying something similar here, but it doesn't seem to be working. Can't I just take this pawn, you push, I move here, you push, I take? So I want to create a 2-pronged threat that's actually far away from each other. The king has to break towards one of them, and whichever one he does, I abandon. Oh, also, he can't even move on a diagonal. That's terrible for him. I guess he can stay in the middle, move to like here, and then chase whichever pawn bolts. Or, but then I can just move with the other one. So this seems pretty good to me. All right, he's going over there. So this pawn is now uncontested. And my king needs to deal with the left side of the board. Which, if you push this pawn, I can come here and blockade them both. If you push this pawn, I come here and blockade the one that's threatening to queen. If you push the other, I jump. Yeah. This looks solid. Game over. All right, he attacked a passed king somehow. He got me here. Oh, I hate this game so much. Kings should not be allowed to checkmate. And yet, past versions can be checkmated by other kings. So what happened here? He moved this guy into the past, creating a new timeline where he's... yeah. So this was... I don't know. This reminds me of the King Maiden 1 puzzle, where it just seems like bizarre to me. What exactly happens here? I don't really get it. What conditions made this possible? This king. Like, is the problem that I got 2 spaces away from another king in the same timeline? And that gives him the opportunity to go back in time and attack a past version of me? I guess. Jeez, I don't know. I gotta go do the king puzzle again. King tactics. Maiden 1. Okay. So there's 2 boards I can move on. I don't think this one's much good, right? Because he can't even move into the past anywhere. You could move here, creating a new timeline, but you're not really attacking anything in it. So I think you have to send this guy back. And if you send him here, he's attacking this king. So... oh, and I have to make some legal move on this board, I guess. I don't know. Here? No, I lose. What? Why is that not checkmate? You go here. Right? You're now attacking... oh, this king is too far back in the past for you to reach. I see. But that's the same move, but it still seems right. Okay, so was the checkmate on this board somehow? I don't think so. Oh, maybe it is because it creates a timeline here? No. This is not checkmate. Is it? Who am I even attacking? Like nobody, right? Yeah, see, I still don't really understand the king tactics. What if I just move here? Is that... that doesn't do anything, right? He's not attacking anyone. So if this guy creates a new timeline, where's it going to be? It's going to be like here, right? Is this good? No. Right? Oh, it is not. You're not attacking this king. Moving here is illegal. You just would capture me. Moving here doesn't really do anything, right? Ugh, I solved this puzzle, but I did not understand it. Wait, maybe I just move here? Oh, I see, of course. Right. Because I don't have to attack past or future, although I think this is triple checkmate. I'm being attacked, but only by kings from the past, and they can't change their minds. This guy can't travel back far enough in time to get me. Right? He could go like here, or whatever. Okay. Right, see, we're attacking these three kings. So... are there situations where a king can, by moving back in time, create a checkmate against another king, or are there not? Now, I remember the answer to this one, I think. It was like this, but why? Because we're attacking this king. Right? Yeah. So you kind of have to... the easiest way to get checkmate with a king is to go back in time, creating... is to already be in the past with a lengthy parallel dimension next to where you will be creating yours. Because if you travel back just one move into the past, and there are no nearby timelines that advance far into the future, you can't really catch a king by surprise. You can't attack a future king. You could maybe attack a past king, that happens, but it seems like the easier way is to have a long adjacent timeline that you can threaten sideways for a long time without any of the pieces on that board being allowed to move. And that's what both of these checkmates have been about. Okay. Let's how long is this video? Pretty short still, I guess. We'll look at a couple opening traps, I guess. So what happened here? Yeah, this is just a classic, like, this is why taking the center is bad. Because the queen can go back in time and attack your king like so. Okay, well, whatever. Let's try another kind of shortish versus match, I guess. Timeline Tactician is just more pieces? Ah, no. Actual pieces instead of just pawns. I like this better. Oh, this is kind of interesting because you actually have to send a piece across to start with, and it has to be a knight or a rook, I guess, right? Oh, this is so weird. Because if like, okay, we're just gonna lose this game, but like, you know, I can't submit these moves. It's illegal because I haven't made a move on this board yet. So there's only like a couple legal moves for me. You can go here. This knight seems kind of dead right now, but so does that rook. Or you could mirror and put the rook here. Or you could send the knight here, which seems worst of all. Just giving him up for a bishop. This is such a cool little idea. Knight in the corner is just so easy to exploit, but isn't the rook in a corner easy to exploit too? Not really. You can't attack him that easily. Okay, I'll just follow your plan. Oh, this is horrible. He's threatening some serious stuff, isn't he? Well, maybe not. I thought there was some combination attack from this knight and rook, but I don't actually see it. And they can't both move onto this board at the same time. If the knight moves here and if the rook moves and the knight tries to move onto this board, it just forks an alternate version of the board. So... Huh. But, for example, the knight could move to here next turn, which is still not too serious a threat, but kind of getting a little warm. I don't know. What if we just threaten the rook? Hang on. If I leave this pawn standing still for just a little while, it'll be able to travel back in time and capture a past version of this knight. So maybe I just want to do something else, like deflect the immediate threat against the rook, like against my king. Like, I don't know, there isn't really an immediate threat, right? What if I just do this? That sucks, doesn't it? He just takes my rook. Yeah, I kind of want to move this rook, don't I? I feel very much on the defensive here. These 4x4 boards are brutal for black. Actually, moving this pawn is pretty cool now that I think about it. I didn't want to do it because I was worried about a bishop, like, getting to this space or something. This, I don't know. That doesn't even make sense. But knight here threatens checkmate, doesn't it? You just reach 2 spaces forward and 1 timeline across, and you got him. So opening up this space for my knight seems very good. Game over. Yeah, all right. 2 timelines over, 1 step to the side. Oh, this is just so rough. Oh no, I don't want any unicorns. Get out of here. Just give me a real game, I guess. Global warming is the most bizarre. Like, this is not... It's just a draw. There's 1 space and no pieces. All you can do is... I don't know why they put that one in the game, but okay. What is focused just kings, by the way? Yeah. I never was able to make any progress on this one, I don't think. Like, you can do this as long as you like. You can send your guy back in the past a bit if you want, but I don't know that this is really an advantage. I guess actually this is kind of interesting because now white must, on this board, either travel in time or in dimension, like to here or to the past somewhere from here. I don't know, we'll try this. Oh my god, he didn't do that. Instead, he chose not to move on this board by bringing another piece into it. So now I actually have to go back to this space in order to avoid being checkmated on it. That's so weird. This would be bad, right? Yeah. So I guess we have to go to somewhere over on this file. This is just so silly. Okay. I'm not allowed to move there. Okay. Is this ever resolving itself? Is anything interesting ever happening? I don't think it is. Yeah, you just have to go somewhere that's not... I have to stay on my half of the board, right? Like, I don't know, I could do this. I could just do normal moves. Okay, I lose. I am... These little tiny boards are just too bizarre for me. All right, well, I don't really want to play a whole standard game with the time we have left. Let's just do a small. And I'm black again. Did I like... I don't know, whatever. I don't think I got the randomization settings wrong, but whatever. I can live with it either way. I can take it, or I can not take. I don't want to give this pawn an opportunity to march onto my king's space, I don't think. It would unleash my queen, I guess. That's something. So I'm inclined to just take like this. That invites the enemy queen up. No, not really. You're just going to retake with this pawn, I suppose. And, geez, I don't know. That's dropping a pawn. That's okay in the short term anyway, I think. Queen up. If I take here, I give my rook a chance to develop. I'm also like keeping an eye on going back in time to capture a bishop at the back of the board. It's not very appealing though, because at the beginning of the game that bishop was defended, so I'm just like going back in time to trade bishops. I don't know. Doesn't seem very exciting. I really want to keep this pawn in place. Ugh. All right, we'll take this, I guess. Now I can finally develop this knight sort of safely. He's not being attacked by any pawns, and I have enough pawns defending him that none of the pieces want to attack. So he should become quite a nuisance for white here. Yeah. I'm definitely not capturing with this pawn because he's the one preventing past attacks against my king. So I just take here, attacking the queen. No, okay. Well, actually... I was thinking I had some attack against this pawn and I could leave this guy standing, but that seems very dangerous. I think I should probably just take it. Figure out the follow-up later. I don't know, it sort of keeps my queen stuck here for the rest of the game if I do that. What if I decided to send this queen in the past? Where could she get to? She could, like, take this pawn, which doesn't seem very exciting. It just gets taken by the rook. Okay. Alright, you got me. I'll just make boring moves. Alright, a queen trade. Oh, I love that so much as black. Also, I have a bishop and they have a knight. I'm not really sure which is better. Probably knights are better, actually, in this tiny board. Ugh, but if I take here, this pawn will be a humongous problem. It's like impossible to get to him. What, like, can I really delay though? Can I not capture? I guess I could. I make a pretty credible threat by pushing this pawn, I think. It's not defended, but it's only being attacked by the queen, and if she takes it, my queen gets in. And the pawn's threatening to promote with checkmate, or to capture the knight. It's sort of important to defend against... I guess to defend against both, you just move the knight out of the way? Maybe that's not so good, giving white an excuse to get the knight into play. Because the knight is not that far away from doing something nasty to my king, I think. I don't see the details exactly, but one thing would be knight here attacking the queen, and then knight here forking the king and rook. That seems pretty serious, actually. Yeah, I think I need to actually resolve this queen tension first. Because even if I don't... Well, no, the knight can't make that as long as the pawn's in place. So I could consider moving a different piece. But, like, none of my pieces really want to move, right? I guess I could swing the rook over, maybe? The only thing about that is that this empty square next to the rook has been empty for a fair while. And it's kind of nice to have it there as like an escape hatch. Oh, also this just sucks because the queen just takes the rook. Alright, we'll do the boring thing. Let's take the queen. And then I think what I want to do is get the bishop over here. It's defended by my rook. And then up here to attack the rook and also attack this square, which is checkmate against a passed king. So we're threatening mate in one here. Although, yeah, mate in one. Yeah, so he had to make that trade. And the position is fairly even now. I don't know which of us has a better... I have a more active rook. But this pawn is a huge... I also have better pawn structure, I guess. But this pawn is so advanced and in a spot that's really difficult for me to attack. I'm not sure who's winning. Okay, well, I guess I'll take your pawn then. Are you planning to fly very far back in time on that space? It's been vacant for a long time. You could go all the way back here with that rook if you wanted. Turn 2. 3? 4? I don't know. Oh, they're labeled. That's right. It's just such a light text color. You could go back to turn 4 with that rook if you wanted. I'm not sure what else you would be doing with that rook, right? Just move it back? Alright, that's fine with me. Oh wow, this rook is having a sad day, I think. We just push and then get checkmated. That seems pretty bad. The rook just back rank mates. It's not actually mate because of time travel, But we could only sidestep it by 1 turn, and we couldn't deal with the rook in time. So actually, this would be conceding the game. That would be surrender. We could do something like this. But I don't like that very much, because white can just move here and have a similar threat, right? Well, actually, no. I was thinking that if he goes here and I travel back in time, my king's still under threat, but it's not. There's no king here anymore. So the rook's attacking nothing. Now, on the other hand, the rook could follow me onto that timeline and then be checkmating me again, I think. So that actually, if I do nothing on this board, let's say I just pass, I think this is game over. One interesting thing that occurs to me is this. Getting my king closer to... Oh, is this the same problem? This is closer to being escaped from the back rank, but I don't think it actually escapes. Rook here, and then, let's say, I time travel somewhere else. Can that rook follow me? I'm not even sure. I think this is okay. Yeah. I don't think the rook could actually... I could run to another dimension, but if the rook tries to chase me, he has to do it by standing on this space, and he'll be unprotected when he arrives, so my king just grabs him. So now my king is relatively safe from rook attacks. I think I can afford this. Black has to blockade, or else throw away the rook. When he does blockade, I come up here. No. So then he just takes me. I have to go over and then up. But it... And then the rook is pinned. And he probably... I'm not sure what he does, but this seems fine. So I think I go here, check, right? How are you going to escape? You can run away with your king, but then I get your rook, or you can capture with your rook, but then I promote. If I wanted this to be a pawn, would that to be like a knight or something? Would that be legal? I don't see a way to do it. I don't want that, of course. Holding control does not allow me to control the choice. All right, but now I've got a queen. I'm a pure queen up, right? Not even like a queen for a pawn. I just got a queen, and that's checkmate against some past king. Yeah, yeah. Okay, well that was, I think, a relatively interesting for a small board. Even though it was all on one timeline, I don't know. Stuff still happened here that would not have happened in standard chess on a 5x5, right? When we were, here, well, no. Here, it's white's move. Rook here is checkmate, right? If I don't have time travel available. But I do have time travel available, which means we had to do something else. And there were some other things, I think, that happened along those lines, right? Like the threat I was making with this bishop was very, very serious in time travel, in 5D chess, but kind of nothing at all in... I mean, okay, I'm threatening the rook, but you can move the knight. Well, you can't actually. I guess you'd have to do the same thing. Anyway, another little tiny game of 5D chess. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.